Australian farmers are doing it tough at the moment. They're battling drought in the southern states. They've had to survive floods in New South Wales and up in Queensland, and they're still recovering from Cyclone Alfred.
So you'd think our government would be doing all it can to help farmers who, after all, are the backbone of this country. But instead, the government's determined to add insult to injury with a super tax on unrealised gains that has many farmers fearing they'll need to sell their properties.
Joining us now is One Nation leader, Senator Pauline Hanson. Senator, many who hold farms in self-managed super funds are worried they'll be hit by Labor's tax on unrealised gains because land values have surged. So they're worried they're going to have to sell those assets in order to pay for those paper gains. How is this fair, especially at a time when farmers are already struggling?
Well, it's not fair. They've put their land and into self-managed funds. There's a lot of people have put their investments into it to manage themselves because they didn't want other companies or organisations managing it for them. So therefore, their value of their property has gone over the $3 million mark, and that's where the government actually wants to tax them on unrealised gains over the $3 million mark. This is going to affect a lot of farming sectors, plus other investors in Australia as well, those people. But isn't it funny? Who's protected by this? Politicians, bureaucrats, judges, all these other people protected by it. That's an unfair scheme as far as I'm concerned, and it should never be passed in the floor of Parliament. And that's where we must oppose it, and Australians must understand what is happening here. Now, a lot of Australians out there, they think, I'll never get $3 million in my super fund. Why shouldn't they pay extra tax on it? Because this is not indexed at all. So therefore, it's going to capture more and more people as time goes by. If this gets passed, do you think the coalition will wind it back? I doubt it. Usually any government that gets extra taxes into their coffers won't wind it back or change it. It's an unfair tax. During all the period of years that they've had this, gained this property or inherited, taxes have been paid along the way, whether it be rates or land tax or whatever has been paid. They've worked hard for this. Why is the government again double dipping again to take monies? Because they can't control their spending. I'm terribly opposed to this. I feel for the farming sector out there. The average farmer now is over 60 years of age. They're telling the kids, get out of the farming sector. There's no future for you. We won't be a land to grow our own food. We're now becoming a net importer of food, and it's a crying shame where we're going. The Labor government and the Greens have no connection with the man on the land or the rural and regional areas. It will affect not only the farmers, but also the communities. And who will buy up the land because they're going to have to sell it? Probably foreign investors.
Well, Pauline, you ask why the government's double dipping in terms of this tax. Maybe it's to pay for things like the NDIS. I don't know. The latest quarterly report on the $48 billion NDIS reveals 1 in 10 5 to 7-year-olds are now on the scheme. That's up from 8% just 2 years ago. In fact, children under the age of 15 now make up 70% of new participants. So there's a question about what's going on with our kids. But to the NDIS itself, we've had Bill Shorten, Amanda Rishworth. Now we've got Mark Butler appointed to get the scheme under control. There's zero sign that is going to happen. I'm just wondering what the answer is here. I mean, the level of spending is simply unsustainable.
Well, it is, James. Now, Bill Shorten, I've got to give him credit where credit's due, and he did try to rein it in. I worked closely with Bill in his office to actually address the issues with this. He did have a lot of changes to it. People were actually paying their rents, gambling, alcohol, tobacco, cruises, cuddle therapy, sex toys. All this was paid for by the NDIS. But the problem now that you're talking about, and at the moment it's $48 billion, expected to blow out to about $95 to $100 billion by 2032-35. It is unsustainable. When it was sold to us, it was for those people with severe disabilities, parents who were wondering what happens to my child who needs this constant care and attention.